Hello and welcome to the Eurotrip's big interview. Now, over the last few weeks and months, over on the podcast itself, we've been speaking to some of the biggest names from the Eurovision Song Contest. And this week, Rob, we've got another big name.
We do. That's right. Here on Eurovoix.tv, we give you the opportunity to hear some of these interviews in full. And it is totally worth it because there are some fascinating stories to tell, including, James, as you've said, this week we have Andrius Mamontovas. He was Mr. LT United. Now, you might remember they represented Lithuania at the Eurovision Song Contest in 2006. Their song, it's a bit of a Marmite song. Some people love it, some people hate it, but they did very, very well in Athens. And it's fascinating, even just hearing how that song came about and also what it was like being a musician in Lithuania before the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, Rob, you're absolutely right. And one of my favourite stories, you've just picked up on it there, is where he tells you which song inspired him to write We Are the Winners. You will simply not believe your ears when he tells you which song that was. And as Rob says, some fantastic insight into what it was like to grow up in the Soviet Union, wanting to become a musician. So without further ado, let's get to this week's big interview with Andrius Mamontovas.
This is the Eurotrip.
Hi, my name is Andrius Mamontovas. I represented Lithuania in the year 2006 with my band LT United.
Can you talk to us about life before Eurovision?
I started my music career in 1983. We were 16 years old friends, and we started the band that was called Foyer. And one member of that band actually took also part at the same Eurovision appearance that we did. The guy that did the crazy dancing for the song We Are the Winners of Eurovision, the guy that was crazy dancer, he was actually the keyboard player of my band. So we started our music careers together. Then we had lots of success here in Lithuania, and after 14 years in the year of 1997, we decided to go separate ways. Our band split, and we made a goodbye concert, and it is still holds the record of the biggest concert that ever happened in Lithuania. We had a crowd of 60,000 people, and for the country with 3 million citizens, that is actually quite a big percent of the population. So then after that, I started my solo career. I've been involved in the theater. I played for next 17 years. I played the role of Hamlet. In a production of probably one of the most famous Lithuanian theater directors in the world, called Eimuntas Nekrošius. And we traveled the world, almost every continent, even performed it at the Queen's Jubilee in 2012 at the Globe. So I unexpectedly had quite big career in the theater, even if it just was one role, but that was like the main one. And in 2006, this was idea that came to my head that I should form the band, invite my friends, my fellow musicians who are actually they were all the whole crew of LT United. They still have their music careers here, and they have them before. They're famous musicians here in Lithuania. So we decided to make this the song that. But my idea was not to win that particular Eurovision. Our idea is to win the Eurovision in general. So we're singing the song of the winners of Eurovision. So this was kind of ironic and funny, and we had a very, very good time in Athens. So this is, in short, this is my life kind of before the Eurovision.
What was it like being a performer in Lithuania, as you say, starting in the late 80s and going on obviously to now? But what was it like being a performer in Lithuania as the country gained its independence?
Well, before we started, when it was still Soviet Union, we were occupied for 50 years, and we were hidden from the world behind the Iron Curtain. And to start the band back then, it was purely, we didn't think about, money or I don't know. We didn't even dream to perform somewhere abroad. We just wanted to play our music, the music that was popular at the time in the West. So we wanted to play like a new wave and synth pop music. Something that you wouldn't hear on the state radio back then. So we became popular. People were re-recording our songs like reel to reel from cassette to cassette. Our music was spreading slowly, but then the independence movement happened in Lithuania, and we still call it the singing revolution, because all the independent movement was very heavily supported by Lithuanian musicians. We were making a free concerts, so the big crowds of people could gather, and the new young politicians could say their speeches and talk about the freedom, and this is the musicians actually took a big part in all the independent movement in Lithuania. So I'm one of those guys. So after that, of course, it all became possible. We started to officially release our albums, and because in Soviet Union, to be recognized, to make a concert or to release your album, you had to pass the special committee of Ministry of Culture, that they would question you, they would listen to your music, they would investigate if there are any anti-communist messages in the songs or something like that. So it was quite interesting time and quite interesting transition to something else. And Lithuania is actually, we made quite a journey as a country, because to me, I was born in Soviet Union. Then I used to live in an independent country, and now I'm a member of European Union. So and I never change. I never move out of my city. So it's like different systems changing before your eyes. That was always very interesting to see. So yeah, we took a big part in the independent movement. So and around the year, or in the beginning of '90s, all changed. So it became possible to travel abroad, because there are big Lithuanian communities outside of Lithuania. So I'm still playing concerts all over the world for the Lithuanians who live wherever they live, from New Zealand to Los Angeles. It just there are big communities. So that's, I don't know if I'm I'm trying to tell as many things as possible in a short period of time. So I hope I'm speaking. I hope you can understand.
Yeah, no, absolutely, totally. I mean, the next question really is, obviously, the Soviet Union never had anything to do with Eurovision. So how did your awareness of Eurovision begin?
In a strange way, I remember that they were actually they were broadcasting it, not all the time maybe, but somewhere in the beginning of the 80s or at the end of the 70s, they started to broadcast it. I don't know, did they do it officially or not? Did they do it legally? But I remember, for example, I remember, I guess I could say I was watching Eurovision since 1970. 2008, maybe something around that time.
And then, obviously, Eurovision has changed so much in the time that you started watching it to the time that you eventually competed in 2006. So at what point did you think actually Eurovision is an aim, is a goal for you and for the rest of the band, for LT United?
This is what is unique about Eurovision. It's probably the strangest, the weirdest festival in the world. And this is why it's so much fun, because usually you see people, performers, you see them for the first time, and probably most of them for the last time, and every country still, participate with such passion, and people are, especially in this part of Europe where I am from, this is like it's like a place where you can get, you can be seen, you can get recognized, you can represent your country, and if you win, then glory to you. So it's something. Eurovision to me is something between this very unique event, a very big chance for some absolutely unknown singers, and at the same time it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. It's all in one. You cannot, sometimes you cannot distinguish it, if you're watching it for real, or you're watching with some kind of irony. Do you love it or do you hate it? You still watch it. So this is why I think it is a brilliant idea to make such a contest, such a song contest, and it's going on for many years now, so for decades. So it's to me it's very, very unique, very unexplainable thing. So it kind of brings people together and makes them be proud of their country if they did well. Also, they make them hate the contestants if they did not do well. So there are many. There's lots of moments to be passionate about.
And of course, you did very well. We'll talk about that in just a second. But can you remember what the rest of the band said when you were in the process of forming LT United, and when you said, "I'd like to go to Eurovision"? Were they all up for it as well?
Yeah, that was first. It started like kind of like a joke. I called one of my friends, the colleagues, and I said, I have this idea for the song. It is just a very simple song. It says we are the winners of Eurovision, because in the year 2005, the winner was Greece, and the song was called Number One, or My Number One. And I thought, this is why they win, because they call their song Number One. So if the way you call your song, this is how you will do it at the Eurovision. This is how you will succeed there. So I think if you want to win the Eurovision, you should sing the song of the winners. So I thought, well, I should write a song of the winners of Eurovision. If we sing that song, we are the winners. And I thought this is, it would be fantastic, if we would, even if we would take the last place, that would be even more ironic. It would. So I thought this is a very good material, to go there and have some fun. So I called my friends, because to participate in such a foolish thing, you should have at least sense of humor and sense of irony. So I called the friends who could understand that, and they all kind of accepted that, and they say, yeah, let's go. And then we thought, then we spoke with each other, and then we realized that no one of us, we'd never been to Greece. none of the 6 persons that were on stage. We never been to Greece, and we thought this is the best way to go to Greece for the first time and experience it in full, you know.
And what was the experience like? Because Eurovision is obviously an experience that you never forget. But what do you remember about the rehearsals, the week? It must just be like a weird memory for you.
It is. It's kind of you spend like we spent around. I guess we were there for around 10 days. It's like you are in a different world. You're waking up in a hotel and you're getting ready and you go to the arena and you spend there most of your day, because there are usually 1 or 2 rehearsals every day, and all these people that are walking around, and some of them look very important, but you don't know who they are. and it's all colorful. It's all there's lots of journalists. Everybody wants to talk to you. Like they make you feel like you are a huge international star, even if you're not. So I guess this is what makes some of the performers want to come back to Eurovision. There are many performers who would go next year. So because they make you feel like you are an international star if you are not. And this is such and the amount of attention that you get. It's kind of it is fun. It is fun. We didn't take it seriously, and we wanted to have a good time and give it to people around us. So we spent. That was a really amazing experience that I could never forget. And I don't know if I want to go against Eurovision, not because I don't want to go, but because I don't want to ruin this first impression that we had. And it was brilliant. It was fantastic.
What are your memories of Athens as a host city? Because it was a fantastic city for you to be able to go to while doing the Eurovision.
Well, Athens, I've seen quite a lot of the world. So Athens, I wouldn't say it's my favorite city. I'm sorry, people of Athens, but the food is fantastic and the coast. And one day they took us to the Greek islands. So Greek islands, this is where all the beauty is and all the experience of Greece. Athens is just a big, noisy city, and you kind of get lost in it. But of course, you go up on the hill to see Acropolis and the other old ancient architecture. But to me, the most impressive thing was Greek islands. We went to island of Hydra, which I think is one of the most interesting places.
Now, on the final itself, on the Saturday night, you did very well. Would you say the highlight was the 12 points from Ireland?
12 points from Ireland was. It was to hear that it was like to win the Eurovision. It was not matter anymore if we win, which place we'll take it, because we got points from the countries that usually never give points to Lithuania. So I don't know if you saw that. There are some videos on the internet. When we came back to Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, at the airport, there was like a huge crowd of people, and they were welcoming us like if we were the winners, of the Eurovision. So the whole trip from the beginning to the end was absolutely amazing, full of great emotion, joy, love, and fun. So to me, this is the impression of the Eurovision that I want to keep with me all the time.
Now, after the Eurovision, I want to talk to you about this story that Robbie Williams performed your song on stage in Brussels. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. He sang like a few lines from that song, and then I guess after 2 years when the Germany won, I saw the German fans. They were celebrating the you know the
Lena.
yeah, Lena. Yeah, they were celebrating Lena as a winner, but they all were singing one song: "We are the winners of Eurovision." So it was even when in the year 2006 when Lordi, they were the winners of that year. Even when they received the award at the press conference, they were singing our song. We are the winners of Eurovision. And this is, I think, I see it as my legacy for Eurovision. I give this song to every winner so they can celebrate it well when they win.
You've created an anthem for Eurovision now for however long to come, for decades to come.
It's an anthem of the winners.
Now, you've touched on it earlier on in the interview, but would you go to Eurovision again? Is it something you would do? Because everyone who I've spoken to has always said that they really, really enjoyed it, and they probably, if the chance came about, they probably would go again.
Yeah, like I said, it's you should always have this. There must be this special feeling. Because sometimes we can, we can write a song, we can follow certain rules, to get certain results, and there are rules in pop music that if you follow, then you might succeed. But I always want to make things special, and back then it was this 150% feeling. We should go with this song. This is gonna be very, very good. This is gonna work for us. So if I don't have this feeling, I'm not going. But I don't know. Maybe one day I will whistle some stupid melody, and I say, and I'll get this feeling again. Maybe. But you should go when you have this, when you're, I know, intuition or what it is, that this like a yearning, this like a feeling that tells you like this is for you, this is your door, you should open and go there. So if I get this feeling again, I will go. Yeah.
I couldn't not ask you, because this is a question we ask everybody. I'm sure somebody before will have asked you for your favorite Eurovision song of all time. But we ask on our podcast, what your second favourite Eurovision song of all time was.
Why second?
Because everyone asks first.
Okay, I guess I'm deciding. It's of course usually the one of the best Eurovision songs that comes to mind is probably Volare. This song is a classic. It's a melody that sticks to your head and never leaves you. But I would say, I guess that was in the year 1980. It was, I think it was Belgian band called Telex, and they had a song that was called Eurovision. And I remember I was a teen. I was 13 years old. Or 14, and I was watching the Eurovision. I love that song, and back then I thought, well, this is a very good idea. When you are in the Eurovision and you sing about Eurovision, this is brilliant. So they kind of give this impulse to me, and I always remember that. And then
26 years later.
25 years later, I kind of came back to that idea, and I thought, yeah, I should write a song about Eurovision. But I wasn't realizing that. But after some time, I just remember that I really love the song by the Telex called Eurovision.
Now,
guys, if you're watching, thank you very much. You gave me the ride of my life.
and just finally, before we started the interview, you were saying how busy things are, and things in Lithuania, fingers crossed, are still good right now. So what have you been up to, and what are you preparing for?
Yeah, it was sad that we had to cancel. I had a sold out tour in Lithuania this spring, and I had to cancel and move the concerts. But Lithuania did quite well with the COVID. So at the end of the summer, I already had some concerts, and I'm preparing for a few more. I hope the second wave will not stop us this time.
So Andrius Mamontovas there, speaking to us here on Eurovision.tv in another of the Eurotrip's big interviews. Great to hear some of those stories about his time in Athens for the contest in 2006, and also towards the end there, just a little potential talk of him coming back maybe in the future and representing Lithuania once more, if the right song comes along.
That would be incredible, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have said that at the beginning of 2020 or even back in 2006 even, that Andrius Mamontovas or LT United would return to the contest. But as I said at the top of the show, my number one inspired We Are the Winners. Didn't think I'd be seeing that today, did I?
Absolutely not. Those two songs, not particularly similar, are they? We Are the Winners and My Number One. But that's the power of Eurovision, isn't it? Thank you very much for watching this latest episode of the Eurotrip's big interview here on Eurovision.tv. We'll be back with another one next week. So until then, goodbye.